Dick Cheney, the hard-charging conservative who became one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents in U.S. history and a leading advocate for the invasion of Iraq, has died at age 84. According to Associated Press, the quietly forceful Cheney served father and son presidents, leading the armed forces as defense chief during the Persian Gulf War under President George H.W. Bush before returning to public life as vice president under his son George W. Bush. Cheney was, in effect, the chief operating officer of the younger Bush's presidency. He had a hand, often a commanding one, in implementing decisions most important to the president and some of surpassing interest to himself, all while living with decades of heart disease and, post-administration, a heart transplant. Cheney consistently defended the extraordinary tools of surveillance, detention and inquisition employed in response to the terror attacks of September 11, 2001. A hardliner on Iraq who was increasingly isolated as other hawks left government, Cheney was proved wrong on point after point in the Iraq War, without ever losing the conviction that he was essentially right. He alleged links between the 2001 terrorist attacks and pre-war Iraq that didn't exist. He said U.S. troops would be welcomed as liberators. They weren't. A survivor of 5 heart attacks, he'd long thought he was living on borrowed time and declared in 2013 he now awoke each morning with a smile on my face, thankful for the gift of another day, an odd image for a figure who always seemed to be manning the ramparts. His political career in Washington spanned several administrations, including Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan. And politics was clearly in the family. His daughter Liz Cheney was elected to Congress as Wyoming representative in the House and soon rose to the position of House Republican Conference Chair. However, her vote in January 2021 for the impeachment of President Donald Trump after the January 6 riot at the Capitol earned her praise for her courageous stance from many Democrats and political observers outside Congress. But the Wyoming GOP voted overwhelmingly to censure her, and House Republicans booted her from her role as conference chair. Cheney's other daughter Mary is a lesbian, and because of that, Cheney was one of the rare politicians to support gay rights early on.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
Thank you, sir. I have a gay daughter, so it's an issue that our family is very familiar with. We have 2 daughters, and we have enormous pride in both of them.
Right, guys. What are you priming? Come on, guys. Watch the stage.
I think that the future of the country is at stake.
Right.
And there are moments when we all have to come together.
The main intelligence directorate reported that they are continuing a special operation in Pokrovsk, and, together with additional special forces, are stopping the occupiers' attempts to expand their firepower against logistics in their area of responsibility. Timur's special forces of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine are continuing their operation in a district of Pokrovsk, Donetsk Oblast, which is crucial for frontline logistics. Fierce fighting with Russian occupiers is underway, main intelligence directorate reported. It is reported that after a successful landing operation, the GUR special forces, who had occupied certain positions, broke through a ground corridor and were joined by additional special forces. Combat operations are ongoing, aimed at eliminating enemy attempts to expand firepower against logistics in the GUR area of responsibility, the statement said. Other special forces units of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine are also carrying out combat missions in the sector. For the safety of the personnel involved, details of the operations are not being disclosed at this time. Coordinated work continues with all components of the security and defense forces of Ukraine, the main intelligence directorate noted. Prior to this, it was reported that at the beginning of last week, special forces from the main intelligence directorate were sent to Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region in order to stabilize the situation due to the escalation of hostilities. At the same time, the 7th Airborne Assault Corps announced that Ukrainian troops had managed to improve the tactical situation in several districts of Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region.